How is everyone doing? I am very happy to be here, very excited to be doing another live, another coffee with Polkis. I have here my coffee. Look at these cute, beautiful cups. I always get them depending on the season, and I always get them at Marshalls or TJ Maxx, Home Goods, like those stores where you can get beautiful things for your house. So, welcome, welcome. Every Tuesday, we are meeting here on a live and we discuss inner work, personal development, things that are going to elevate us as women. Talk about money, talk about marriage, relationships. And today we are going to be talking about dating your husband. Not just dating, like if you're married, if you already have your fiance, future husband to be, but this mostly is for women that are married already. And if you're not married, then you are lucky because these will help you once you get married, once you become a wife. This is going to help you have these things, in check. So once you get married, then you are going to be prepared. So that's also a blessing. So, ladies, this is a very important topic for me because with the time, I've been married 3 years, engaged for one, and then we know each other for like, it's going to be almost 5 years that we've been together. And since we met with my husband, we have never stopped dating. And I mean dating with intention, awareness, and purpose, not just for the sake of going out and going out to dance or drinks or food or a fancy restaurant. No, like actually dating to get to know him, for him to get to know me, like keep getting to know me. And I always share, we have this day, since we met, we assign a day that we will date. I think this was my idea. I listened it or heard it in a podcast when I was like, working in my office, and I would listen to podcasts. And then I don't remember what podcast was it, but I do remember it was a relationship podcast. And they were talking about, and by this time I didn't know him. I was not, engaged, didn't know him yet, but I would love to hear personal development anyways. And this relationship podcast suggested that you should keep dating your husband or keep dating the partner or your, boyfriend, fiance, and the importance that this date have in your relationship. So I'm like, oh, in the future, once I find my husband, because I was already mentally like in the mindset that I wanted to get married. So I was preparing, I was finding tools and equipping myself with tools that were going to help me in my future relationship. So I was preparing, and I say to myself, once I find my husband, once I find, commit this divine union with someone, I'm going to do these dates. Fast forward, I met my husband, and then I say, hey, let's keep dating, because when you think about dating, you get ready, you set the dates, like you plan ahead, right? Like every weekend, okay, we're going to get to know each other. And then if you like each other's company, then he might ask you again, like, hey, let's go next Friday or something like that. But once you're married, things change a little bit, right? That's the collective belief that things are just going to die down, that things get boring. And that's just a limiting belief. That's just a collective thing that people want to make you believe. But no, you have the power to make the relationship and the marriage that you truly desire. So I suggested, going back to the story, that we will date every Thursday. And then so we assign a day. We say, hey, every Thursday, we're going to intentionally go on a date. And I purposely didn't choose the weekend because the weekend usually you go out, but you just go out because, it's the weekend, you want to go out, activities. But we say that no, Thursday is going to be the most important meeting of the week. Like Thursdays are blocked. After 4 p.m., I'm not available unless my daughter is sick or something like that. But we assign that day for our dates, not the weekend, because on the weekend there is weddings, there are parties, sometimes we want to rest. And it's just more generic, like we go out. But Thursdays feel perfect. So we chose a day. We started there and we will go intentionally on these dates. And this was when we first, started like the dating phase. And then we got engaged 6 months later. He proposed after 6 months. And then we continuously kept going, because then once you're engaged or moving together, we moved in together the week that we got engaged. Because I told him I'm not living with anybody unless I get the ring. And that's how it happened. So once we were living together, you tend to be more at home, like, oh, let me just chill at home, because now you're engaged, you're living together, or let's say that you just got married, then maybe the desire is to stay more at home. And I get it 100%. But if you plan for a date that say, hey, doesn't matter if we want to chill, we want to be at home, that's okay. But this day of the week, we are intentionally keep dating. And that's how we continuously do it for all these 5 years. We have missed 2 days, 2 Thursdays that we missed. One was because my daughter was born on a Thursday, so I was in the hospital. So that was our date, labor, and that was our date. And the second date that we missed, the second Thursday, was Thanksgiving, because I was sick that day. And in the morning, usually if there is a holiday that Thursday, then we will, have a coffee date or a brunch date. And then in the afternoon, we celebrate with family the holiday. But this year didn't happen like that because I was sick. And then, it just didn't work. But we went on a date in a different day. So when you are in the dating phase, the courtship phase, think about that. If you ever went out for dating with your boyfriend or your husband, if you're married, we're talking marriage. When you first met, you were actually trying. Remember, you will dress up, you will keep texting each other, he will call you, pick you up, and especially if you didn't live together, like he got to see you glammed up and ready to go, right? So you will plan to go on dates, on activities, mini golf, I don't know, karaoke, the movies, restaurants, a road trip, and then you will actually try. But what tends to happen is that once people get together and comfortable together, like engaged, married, and share a household together, then they don't think that it's necessary to keep dating because they're spending all their time together, right? Especially if you live together, you're married for this long time, then you think, well, I'm seeing him every time. Like I get to eat dinner with him every time in our dining table, or I get to eat breakfast with him every time. And that is true. And that's why the dating scenario tends to fall down. We don't try anymore. We are not dressing up and glamming up for brunch at our house or a regular dinner, especially if you cooked it, right? You're rushing around. And if you have kids, you're just all over the place trying to put a dinner together. And then you don't try, you don't sit down, calm down, relax in your body, in your feminine energy to go on a date. So the date feeling, the date spirit is different when you go out, someone picks you up, you are ready, you wear your beautiful dress, you put some makeup on, your perfume, and it's a different feeling when you do go on a date, like when you were going the first days, the first months of your marriage, like, or your courtship season. So that's the importance, because these will keep the spark. Many people think that once you're married, as I mentioned, they think that this is something that just will die down. Well, you're married now, you're boring, you don't go out. And don't pick up those limiting beliefs that are in the collective. You get to create the marriage and relationship that you want. So, number one, I have my notes here. Number one, of why this is important, to keep dating your husband, is because it keeps the spark, the curiosity going on. So if you go every week or bi-weekly, depending on your schedule, your kids, your budget, then you will assign a dedicated time, like non-negotiable, like I'm not available these 2 hours because I'm dating my husband, the man that I created all this life with, like the reason why we have this home and these kids, right? Like that's where it starts, like with you too. So I'm nurturing that relationship, and it keeps the spark and the curiosity. Number two, um, you will continuously get to know your husband, and he will continuously get to know you. We are evolving beings. Human beings always keep growing, learning, changing. And I guarantee, I bet you that you are not the same woman that he met, right? Especially if you've been married longer than 5 years or 10 years, or if you're a young marriage, like 1 year, 2 years, you are not the same woman and he's not the same man that you met each other when you first met. You're not the same. So humans keep evolving, changing, learning, especially if you become pregnant, you became a mom, he became a dad. Like, things just change, priorities change. We pick up new habits, new hobbies, we change personality traits, we learn new things. So we constantly keep learning, changing, and evolving. So when you set aside a time frame in your week, in your month, to get to know this guy and for him to get to know you, continuously get to know you, then there is that curiosity. There is that fire of, hey, I'm dating a new woman every time, because you are changing seasons of life. Your season right now, if you're a mom, is not the same season when he met you working, single, living alone, living with your parents, going out on dancing. So, for example, in my case, when he met me, I was an engineer. I was working my corporate job, my office job. I was going on salsa lessons because I love to dance. So I was going to like these salsa events, salsa lessons. I was living alone in my apartment. That was a big accomplishment for me. And I had all these hobbies going on because I, always make sure I always am an interesting person with substance, multidimensional. So right now, that was a season of my life, and now I'm in the season of building wealth, having this business. I am a life coach now, so that completely changed from the career he met me in. I'm a mom, so like, that's my whole day. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and of course that takes a different energy, different sets of skills for me to raise my daughter. So I am a different season. I'm not the same woman he met. My essence is the same, right? Like, I'm Olga, I'm Polkis. That's my essence. But the activities, my day to day, they look different from when he met me. Same for him. He was doing something differently. Now he's building other business. He's upstairs. We're at home all day because we have our own things going on. We have our real estate business together. So we are just different people now. Our essence is the same, but we have different things going on for ourselves. So when you set a time, to keep dating, to get to know that person, then you grow together. And it's sad because many times, I talk to people and they say, "Oh, it's been like years I have been on a date with my husband." And I'm like, "What? You're not getting to know each other in a sacred space." Especially, like, I get it, we live with these people, we live with these men, we make breakfast, we eat, we share dinner together, and we live together. But are you getting to know this person? Who did you marry? Like, who is he now? And also, it goes reciprocal, like, he gets to get to know you. But you need to set aside a sacred space with no distractions, when there is no kids. Like, hopefully you didn't have to cook the dinner, or if you did, like, set it and then eat, but intentionally be present and have the awareness that you are on a date. Okay. So this is going to get to know each other, right? Like, when you were in the courtship season, you were interested in this person, you were asking questions like, "So what do you like? What's your favorite this or that? Or what do you do in the afternoons?" And I get it, you live with this man now, but there is always room for growth and curiosity. Number 4, ladies, I want you to bring your best dresses, the beautiful clothes that you have in your closet, put some makeup on, your perfume, wear the gifts that he gave you. I don't care if you don't like them, girl, put them on. Okay, this is just to show appreciation for the gifts that he has given you. Like, there is woman like, "I don't like it, I'm not going to use it." Well, girl, it's just one date. Show appreciation and gratitude for the gift that you receive from your husband. Is going to make him feel good, and is going to spark that intention of giving you more. So men are wired to with their eyes, right? Like, they like to see beautiful things. they are attracted to beauty, and that's just how they are wired. We can fight that, but you can just understand it and make it work with you to your benefit. So I want you to glam up, dress well to your standard of, like, whatever you feel that you look good in, your colors, your dresses. Put something beautiful, something fluffy, something feminine, some colors to like pop your beauty, like learn what colors work best with you, your makeup. This goes in levels, okay? You don't have to do a full face if you're not comfortable with it, but just some makeup to bring the beauty, like elevate your beauty to, what is it called, to like amplify your beauty, your natural beauty. Your hair, you can do it however you want, but you need to glam up. Remember, always go back to the courtship times. You had time to dress up, to, you always showed up like with your shade legs, or I don't know what you used to do, okay? Your perfume, your makeup, your dress. So try to put the same effort, but now in your marriage. We only have to impress one guy. We don't need to impress many multiple dates, like when we were rotational dating or when we were like dating other people. Now you only have to impress the man that you married, the man that you chose, the one that is providing for you, the one that is the dad of your kids. Okay, it's easier. It gets to be easy and fun. It shouldn't be like a chore. So dress up, showing your feminine energy. First, dress up for yourself. I always love to be dressed up. I always try to feel good. And I do it for myself. Because I love the feel of the vibration. You know, when I feel bad, I go take a shower. I always have my nails done. I always try to look good because that elevates the frequency of your feelings. So, first, try for you, but then, of course, you want to look good to be around the man of your dreams, right? Your husband. So, when you go on a date, I want you to actually try, put effort. That's the thing that me and my husband do. We put effort to look good, to be pleasant to the other people, smell good to each other. And then, he will drive, he opens the door for me and we go. But just looking beautiful, feeling cute is going to elevate your vibration and is also going to help you connect with your feminine energy. Girls, when you go on a date, try to be in your body. Try to be relaxed. I know we have 1,000 things going on, and maybe you right now are thinking, like, of course you have time because what, blah, 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 blah. We make time for what's important. We make time for the priority. If you have time, 15 minutes to be scrolling on Instagram or complaining about something, you got 15 minutes to put the most beautiful dress in your closet, put some lipstick on, put your hair somehow in some perfume and go out on a date. Like, it's just the priority. We make time for our priorities. And I get it. I have kids. I have that. I'm also a mom. I'm a mom of a toddler. She's going to be 2, but I make time. I put her on the counter and she will play with my makeup and I'll do my makeup. I'm like, I don't care. Nothing is getting on my way. I'm going on a date with your dad, like my husband. So you can always make time. It is just the priorities. If your marriage is a priority, if your relationship is a priority, then you will make time for it. How come we have more time for other things that are not our priority, like engaging in like gossips or engaging in drama or just complaining and scrolling like multiple times a day on Instagram? So we can actually make time for these things. Number 5, and one of the most important things is to go on these dates with intention and awareness that this is a date, and also to ask questions, specific questions. I'm going to give you the list of questions that you can, ask, but you have to go with the intention to talk about your marriage and your love unit. Because what happens is that you think that you're just going to go out and vent and just talk all the drama, your long day, and just complain about the food and be mad. I don't know you girls, but I've seen some of the couples that go on dates and they go out and complain. They put all the effort or finding a nanny, putting some makeup on, getting ready, making a reservation, and they are outside fighting. Why would you do that to yourself? I know there is issues that all of us go through things that we need to discuss, but these dates are sacred. These things should be to improve your marriage, not to go and complain with a waitress, to complain about your steak. Don't worry about the food. It's just one date, one restaurant, one meal. Is not the last meal that you're going to eat. So try to be pleasant in your feminine energy. Listen, giggle, share, like your day if he asks, and just try to be present in your body. And if you haven't dated for a long time, of course we tend to use this dating time to talk about the kids, the chores, or work, the problems. Like if you work, then you're not getting paid for those hours because mentally you're working, right? Like if you're complaining about your coworkers, your projects, your work, then that you are at your job in your mind. You're not present with your husband talking about your marriage. So unless your job is paying you to complain and keep talking about them, then talk about them. But if they're not paying you that extra time, especially with your husband, then don't give that energy to them. Put your energy back into your marriage. And I get it. Look, how we do it with my husband, the first hour, we talk about our businesses. We have businesses together. I have mine, he has his, and we have two together. So we use that hour to talk in peace with our baby, right? Because once you have a toddler, you can sit down and talk. You know that if you're a mom. So we go on a coffee date, and this date is just to talk about businesses and parenthood. We talk about the things that we need to improve in, with Maya, our daughter, or how I'm feeling as a mom. House chores. We don't usually discuss house chores because I know my role, he knows his role. We outsource already things that don't matter, like cleaning or gardening, things like that. So there is no need to be discussing chores every date. Like, no, don't use that precious time to talk about peace and stuff. Don't do that. Use elevated dating. Elevate your problems, okay, to the things that chores, don't worry. If you hate doing it, ask him if he likes to do it. If he doesn't, outsource it. And if you don't have the money, do it with the best intention. Put some music on and move on, okay? Chores don't matter. I mean, they do because they keep the household going on. But on dates, we don't want to talk about them for 5 hours or 2 hours. So we talk about business, we talk about our parenthood, we talk about whatever needs to be discussed. And the rest of the date, we allocate 40 minutes to an hour to those things. We go down the list, we discuss with an open heart, open, not try to blame anybody, like you didn't do this, Maya is this, or baby is that. Just open heart. Remember that your husband is on your team. Is you against the problem, you against the chores, you against the business, you against parenthood, but he's not against you. And you shouldn't be against him because then it's like we're not a team. You are a marriage, you are a unit, so you are a team. So after that, after you discuss all of these things out of the way, now you focus on talking about you, your love, your relationship, your marriage. How can we continually keep working on our marriage? How do you feel? Are you being loved? What do you need from me? Are you feeling okay? Is there anything I can do for you? Or is there anything that, like you want me to do? One question that is my favorite to ask, and we've been asking this for like 4 years. Every Thursday, we ask this question, and it's, how is your love tank? Like if you see a tank, how full is your tank? How loved do you feel? And this is such a beautiful question because you can feel with your intuition, like, you know what, I'm at a 95%. I feel great, but I need this, or I need a little more time with you, or I need a little more patience, or you know what, I feel like at a 75%. I didn't feel connected to you this week. I feel that we can do more improvement. I feel that you were not present because you had your job in your mind, like you've been stressed. So this is a good gauge to discuss how loved do you feel in your marriage, because as I say, weekly we are growing, we're evolving, we have kids, businesses, you have jobs, chores, parents, friends. Life is complex, I get it, but also your relationship should be a priority. And once you figure out how is your love tank, Then you can discuss what are some things that you both can do to upgrade it, to elevate it. And this is not a time to blame, right? Like, oh, mine is a 50% because you suck, because you are mean, because blah, blah, blah. We don't want to point fingers. Remember that he is in our team. There is things that, you can work together as a couple in communication. It's key. Of course, it's key. Verbal communication, but embodiment communication the most. So this is a question that I got from a very important book. I don't know if you girls heard it before, heard about it. It's very famous. It's the Five Love Languages, or the Five Languages of Love. I think I'm saying it backwards, but it's something like that. And basically, it explains the 5 ways that people feel loved. And I invite you to read it, listen to it. It's only a 5-hour audiobook. And this is going to change the perspective of your marriage. And this is going to help you see how do you feel loved? When do you feel loved? What does your husband do to make you feel loved? And maybe, like most of the time, we show love the way we want to receive love. But maybe the way we show it is not the same that your partner feels loved. So let's say that you love gifts and you start giving him gifts, making little things for him, little notes. But for him is like, no big deal, because maybe for him is words of affirmation. So this book is going to help you a lot, the five love languages of love. And from that book, that's where I pick up that question. How is your love tank? And that's a question that I continuously ask every week. He asks me that question. I ask that question, and we go from there. How can we improve? What can we do to feel loved? What are some of the things that you need from me? Are you feeling love? Am I being present? And these are things that might be hard for some people because they feel that they just want to blame people or the husband. Well, he's not doing that. Yes, but are you being the reciprocal of that in the first place? It's so easy for us to ask and blame and point fingers to our partner without having the awareness that, hey, what if it's me? What if I'm being like nagging all the day? That's why he doesn't want to be around me. My energy might be off. And this is a hard thing to do because it's so easy to blame people, to try to be the victim, to blame, and not so we don't have to look inwards. When we look inwards, that's when the triggers come up. That's the things that we have to heal. So, as I mentioned in another video before, we cannot give the responsibility to our partner for our happiness. We cannot expect them to make us happy. Happiness is something that you choose for yourself. It's something that you constantly are going to choose your battles to be happy or not. And the truth, ladies, is that we cannot change him. We cannot change our partner. We cannot, absolutely not change anyone or husband. We cannot change him. The only way that you can improve your marriage, that you can elevate, is first changing yourself. And with that, you are going to motivate him. When you embody your change, you're leveled up, you motivate your partner. And by nature, he's going to want to be part of that, like just elevate together, but you cannot make him change. That's a harsh truth. Okay, number 6. Okay, we talk about that, about the chores, like you assign some time to talk about chores, and then you proceed to talk about your marriage. How is your love tank? I love that question. Okay, so I'm going to share some of the questions that you can ask so you continuously get to know your partner, your husband through these dates. Number 1, we're going to go by week. First, weekly question besides how is your love tank, a weekly question that you can ask is there anything new you learned this week? We never thought about that, right? Every week, especially if you're growth mindset, you have a business, you're always evolving, at least there is one thing new that you learned this week. And also for him, this is something that is going to keep him interested in you because you share, hey, this week I learned that blah, 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 blah. This week I learned that our bodies do this. This week I learned that I had this trigger when I saw this. And that's going to give him that kind of like curiosity, and also like he's going to be intrigued, like, hey, she's growing, she's having these things for herself. but also for you is an opportunity for you to keep knowing him. What new did, is there something new you learned this week? And then let him talk. Listen, don't cut him off. Just listen to him, just reply in a feminine way. Oh, that's nice. Tell me more, because men love to brag. They love to show, the things that are doing, the growth they are doing. Another question that you can ask, like that day, if you go that day. This is more like a daily question, like, what did you do for yourself today? Right? Like, do you have like your coffee alone, or maybe they did a workout, or maybe they went and got a haircut, or they bought like a new pair of socks or shoes, right? Something for them, not for your kids, not for you, not for the house, not for their job. What do you do for yourself today? Self-care is so important. And also, like, you can motivate him to have some, like, motivation to do something for himself. Maybe he listened to a podcast or a book. And it's so nice to learn what is your partner into. So this is some questions that, he asked me. He's like, what do you do for yourself today? And I'm like, you know what? Actually, I did a workout before the baby woke up, and it was amazing. And I asked the same question for him, and it's interesting to see how your partner does their inner work or their self care. Right? For me, it was my workout. For him, is like, hey, I went to go get a haircut, and I listened to my audiobook on the way there. So this shows you and teaches you the way they learn, the way they connect with themselves, the way they pour into their cup. Okay, a quarterly or yearly, half year question is this relationship going to where you want? And this might be a hard one, because you also want to be in the same boat, in the same page as your husband. Hey, is our relationship going where you thought it was going to go? And then, hey, yes, it's absolutely going there, and then it's going well. Or maybe the answer is like, hey, I thought we were going to do this and we didn't, or I thought we were going to be more connected or have, some vacations. And this opens the door for you not to get triggered. Okay, we're not planning to get triggered here. We're planning to improve our marriage. So this is a question that can open the door for, it's an opportunity to see what else are you missing, what else is he missing, you are missing, both are missing, to connect, to deeply connect, to do something as a couple. So this is a great question. And these questions, by the way, I got them from Jay Shady. I love that guy. If you listen to his podcast, amazing. So daily question, is there anything you wait, daily question, what do you do for yourself today? Weekly question, is there something new that you learned this week? Yearly question, or you can ask it like every 6 months, throughout the year, is this relationship going where you thought it was going to go? And these are like questions that are hard, right? We don't want to open that door for someone to blame us or tell us where we want to improve, but why not? When someone shows us what we're missing, is an opportunity for us to heal. And also, guess what? You have the opportunity to share the things that you want him to improve, or that you want to, improve in your marriage. So it goes both ways. Remember, we are in the same team. We are not against each other. Ladies, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. Or also, if you're watching the replay of this video, you can put them in the comments below. So, ladies, these are the questions. And also, like, I share every Thursday, I share our date night. I love to take a picture or some videos of the food. And I always share it in my Instagram stories. If you don't follow me yet, I put the link of my Instagram below. Is at Polkis, same as my YouTube channel. And I always share those stories. And I receive many messages from girls, even girls that are just followers from YouTube, maybe, or other, found me on Instagram. And they told me, thanks to you, now I go on dates with my husband, or you were my inspiration to go on dates with my husband, or to start dating again. Or thankfully, we chose Thursdays too, because, like, I love what you do with your husband, and I feel motivated to go on dates. So I love that. And that's why I decided to make this video, because I see that this is something that is lacking out there. Marriages are not going on dates. And this is something that we need to nurture and keep strong. Marriages, strong families are the unit of society, are the nucleus of society. So when we have strong families, we have strong societies, we can raise better kids, but it comes from the unit, the connection of your marriage. How deeply are you connected? So I love to receive these messages. And if you're one of my followers there, please send me a message like saying, hey, or comment here below that thanks to me sharing those things, you're motivated to go on dates. And it makes me so happy because I love seeing women shining, living their best life, being wine and dined. So thank you. And other thing that I wanted to talk about is that you might be thinking like, well, we don't have that budget to go on dates weekly. Doesn't matter. I'm not saying you need to go on a fancy restaurant, you need to spend thousands of dollars, you need to wear new clothes every Thursday, every date night. No. I remember like there was like 6 months where we did not go on dates to restaurants because we had the baby. So I was in postpartum, and then we didn't want to take the baby to late in restaurants. So what we did is we will put her to sleep, and we will set the mood for a date night in our patio or in a living room. But we will change the scenario, order food, lit a candle, and that's something that is cheap, right? Sometimes free. You just set the mood, and intentionally you make it a date night. You don't have to go spend hundreds of thousands of dollars outside, wear new clothes, put something that you have already. And I remember for the day night at home, I will change. I will put a dress on, makeup on, and we will go on our patio with a candle. And sometimes he will bring food or takeout or delivery or something, just something special. And even when I was recovering in postpartum, I will never forget. These are some of my favorite dates and nostalgic dates because I was in bed. I had a C-section, and I was recovering in bed. And thankfully, my mom was there to take care of me and the baby. And we will give the baby to my mom for like an hour or two. And one time he brought donuts or some little cakes, and he brought them to our room. And I ate on my bed, because I was recovering, and it was a Thursday. I think it was the first 2 Thursdays after the baby. And that was so special. He made our date night happen. And we talk about these questions that I mentioned, and we talk about how we feel with each other. And of course, it was a shock because we were new parents. Like, if you're a parent, those first weeks of the first child are intense, and we still made it work. It's the intention, it's the effort that you have to keep continuously putting. How important is your marriage for you? And so don't make money an excuse. I don't have money. You go because you have money. Well, these fancy restaurants, it doesn't have to be expensive. If you have two chairs at home, sit down, lit a candle, make this intention of getting to connect with your husband. It's not about the fancy restaurant, it's not about the wine, it's not about the fancy dress, it's about getting to connect with him. These things are just extras, right? Like we get to look cute because we're goddesses, and we get to be wine and dine outside. But so make an effort, just to be that uh, together in that time. And later, our mother in law helped us. So we will go out. And I told him, hey, the first years we were just going to, restaurants or fast food restaurants or just, something nice, but not too nice. And then after we got my mother in law, I told him, hey, if we're going to do this, babysitting thing, I'd rather go to a nice place because I'm not getting out of the house. I'm with the baby all day at home. Take me to a nice place. So we elevated our dates. And since then, we go to these fancy restaurants, trying different cuisines. And then we moved to Houston, so we don't have any family here. So we went back to doing dates at home for like 2 or 3 months, but we never miss a Thursday. We make the intention to make something special, make each other feel special, and get to know each other so we can grow together parallel. We don't want to grow like a fork, right? Like you go tangent and you just go in different routes. You want to grow together in your own lane because you're different people, but one. So now we have a nanny here. We did the interviewing process and we found an amazing nanny. And now every Thursday she shows up and we're out for a date. We're not missing anything, unless, of course, someone is sick or the baby's sick. But it's our religion that we do. Like I always say, I'm not available. This is the most amazing and most important time in the week, because thanks to us, we have this empire, this unit, this family, or kids, or house, or cats, or businesses, is because we came together. So you need to nurture, we need to nurture that relationship. So that's how we're doing it. And ladies, that was the class for today. Thank you. If you're watching in the replay, please comment what are your thoughts. And I will see you in the next Coffee with Polkis. And next time, I will share the topic for next time and see, what we're going to be talking about. But I left other comments, or other videos, I mean, in the description box, where we talk about marriage, engagement, your love list. And next time, I think we're going to talk about providers. I feel like we should talk about provider men. So those are the things, ladies. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, I left the thing there too. And also, if you want to work private with me 101, I have coaching packages available, self-study ones, courses, and also 101 for private sessions. So ladies, that was all. I love you. Adios. I'll see you in the next video.